Shiv Tattva. Let us understand what does Tattva means. Tattva means the isness, essence of anything. Now, what is our goal? Our goal is this attainment of Shiv Tattva, and this is what we call also called enlightenment. So, enlightenment is basically attainment of Shiv Tattva. In this session, we will explore upon what's the mechanism of it, why we are doing it, and how to go about it, and also some techniques. And let's say this would be minimum 60 minutes. So I would suggest if you don't have a copy or pen, please do have because I'll be saying a lot and anything which resonates with you, I would suggest you can write it down and reflect on it. Okay. So what this is about? This is about self-realization. What does this mean? That we say a normal human is not does not know his true self. So what is this true self? We define it as Sat, Chit, Anand. What does this mean? Truth, consciousness, bliss. We are saying that uh, uh, you are unaware of your true nature, and that true nature is full of this consciousness, and it's the eternal truth, like it is eternal, and it is Anand. Anand means bliss. That means there exists infinite energy around you, and when you get to realize your true Shiv Tattva, you get enlightened and you get to experience your true self, and that is your bliss nature. Now, also, why are we doing this? So, throughout this philosophy, we there was this one fundamental question that why is this suffering? Why is there suffering? So every Eastern school and Western school it agrees that default human nature is to suffer. Why? Because human mind is always filled with desires, and that desire is everlasting. Like they want more money, more position, more power, and they keep on going more because they do not feel content. Why? Because they do not know their true self. And why knowing this true self is necessary? Unless you know your true self, you will be clinging on to your false ego, your pseudo ego, and that will not solve your problem. So this whole idea is that there is this eternal nature inside you that you have to unfold. So this is basically your unfolding of your consciousness, where you realize your true self and merge with the universal consciousness. So we say in this non-duality, like it why we are doing this, because it will give us lasting peace, and by the end of the session I'll tell you, you will get more clearance on this, how we are going to achieve it and how we are striving towards lasting peace. Okay, so first understand this is also God realization. That means we God realization means it's realization of God within. So how do we realize God? First, let's define God. This is also called as Brahman in the Upanishads, and this is the eternal nature of self. Uh, you must have heard of the statement "Aham Brahmasmi." What it means is I am the infinite. I am the totality. So this Brahman is totality. Like, what do we mean by totality or existence? Totality means whatever there is, everything that there is, we are calling it as existence, totality, God, or Brahman. And we are saying that this Brahman can be experienced in your deeper state of consciousness, in your higher state of consciousness, in deeper state of meditation. So, uh, so now why we are doing this? To understand the nature, um, Kashmir Shaivism explains that our true nature is your Shiva nature. Shiva nature is also this. It is defined as Satchitanand. That is called Shiva. Shiva as in pure consciousness. So we are saying that our true essence is pure consciousness, which is full of bliss. It's just that we are not we are unaware of it. So we tend to be in ignorance of our nature, and that's what keep us in the loop of rebirth. And till we realize it, we are subjected to rebirth. This is what the Eastern philosophy says. So once uh, one realizes God within, or Shiva within, or Brahman within, it is first of all formless. So it doesn't matter what you name it, because it perceives as energy, infinite energy, and you cannot label energy. So it is formless. But for the sake of explaining, I use Shiva. Shiva as in pure consciousness. Pure consciousness does not have a need to have a name. It is formless. Yeah. So how do we get to realize the formless? Is the next question. The unfolding of your consciousness. How do we reach the higher state of consciousness? So, Kashmir Shaivism states two kinds of ignorance for a person. First is bodh ignorance. What does it mean? It means unaware of its Shiva nature, and how this Shiva is same with you, and how this everything is coming from one single pure consciousness manifesting into matter, and how we see the duality is because of the Maya nature of Shiva, the illusory power of God. So how do we transcend Maya is the next question. But Maya is not necessarily bad. It is actually it makes the duality for us to realize the non-duality. Okay. Second ignorance is Purush ignorance. That means Purush Agyan. That means the direct experience of this. So this is basically an experience that we are wanting to uh, desiring towards it. So basically, this is a desire for you to once you have this experience, you will have no desires left, because this experience is the most profound human experience that can achieve. That is a state of enlightenment, and this enlightenment is possible for all, because this unfolding of consciousness is what is same for me, is also same for everybody watching this. So the next question is, how do we realize that? So consciousness, Western world defines only three states of consciousness. When you are in waking state, that means your eyes are open and you're watching this world. The second is dreaming state, when you're sleeping and you're dreaming. The third is your deep sleep state, or the unconscious state. In Eastern, we also recognize a fourth state, that is called Turi, or in English, Turiya. This is the fourth state of consciousness. It literally means fourth. And this is the one which pervades all three. Turiya is to be experienced. This is our goal. And how do we go that? In yoga, there is a beautiful term called Nirvikalp Samadhi. It means where there is no thought left, and there is Samadhi. Samadhi means absorption. So our goal is to achieve this state of consciousness. This is the fourth state of consciousness, Turiya. And this can be also called as God consciousness. Why? We say that this state, the fourth state, is common in all the three states. That means this is the one who is aware while this is the state which is aware while all the threes are happening. Like when you're awake, when you're sleeping, when you're in deep sleep. This is the fourth one which is aware every time. So we call this as eternal watcher. Watcher. What does that mean? We say when we perceive a world, when we see a world, there's a perception, we perceive it. And what is this perception? How this perception is of duality, because I see me and you see you, but in reality there's me and you. There's an underlying thing which is common in me and you, that is the watcher. What is the watcher? Watcher means the one who is eternal, the thing who is observing all of it. This perception arises because of subject and object difference. And we say that in reality, there is only one witness that is there in everyone. That is the pure consciousness, which is observing itself. So when we are thinking I as we speak, we are thinking the question is, are you the observer or the observed? That means, are you the one who is observing it, or is there something which is observing you also? Because this duality is because of this two, subject and object. So that brings the question, are you the observer or the observed? So this watcher is what is eternal. That means it is eternal. That is sat. Sat means truth. So it was ever present. This is what we call God. So we are saying that there exists a watcher in you, and to realize what this is, you have to witness the watcher. That means you have to turn inward, not outward, because as long as we are in outward, we will experience this duality. But once this, when I close my eyes, there's nobody there. So there, when I am observing something, there I am trying to witness the watcher. There I am trying to achieve this non-dual state of awareness. So we are saying that there's a higher state of consciousness which is full of infinite bliss, and which is something which is the end of every soul's journey. This is also called liberation or nirvana or moksha or anything would you like to call it. The state of consciousness is the fourth. This is the God consciousness. This is the watcher. So the next question is, how do we achieve that, and what is the characteristic of it? And what is the way? We say we have to turn inward. So the only way to realize God is meditation. Meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is when you go inward and witness the watcher. We'll talk more about this. So the meditation can be explained as basically like a fishing rod. You are aiming at it. So meditation is basically an aim. What you are, we are saying you are pure consciousness. That is, consciousness can be also a second word that can be called for consciousness is awareness. So we are saying beyond your name, beyond your body, beyond your mind, what you are an awareness. You are pure awareness. The next question is, yeah, so that pure awareness can be used to realize your true self. Okay. So what do we do in meditation? We are aiming, using our awareness at the watcher. Why? Because once we observe the observer, once we get to observe the observer, there is no two, because there will be emergence. Like, for example, if I am seeing something, that is called knowledge, right? I am getting perceiving something, that is knowledge. So knowledge is divided into three parts: the one, the knower, the thing which is getting known, and the third is the act of knowing. So we say the non-dual awareness is when these three coincide. Like there's only knowledge left, and there's no knower left. That means this is also what is called as pure knowledge. Pure knowledge. Kashmir Shaivism beautifully explains how this pure consciousness manifests into matter, and this realization is pure knowledge. That is the bliss. If you have to think in the terms of dopamine, we are saying that there literally exists an infinite energy, but since you are unaware of it due to some veils or coverings, we do not get to see that. But when you are aware of it, that's the point of non-dual realization. That's when you expand. That's when your awareness connects to the universal consciousness. So we say there's an always an infinite energy that exists, without needing a cause to exist. Exist. It is just there. That is the base of it. We call it the God consciousness, right? Okay. The next is what's the nature of it? So we say this entire creation is basically manifestation of one single energy. That is pure consciousness. That is what we call Shiva. And this Shiva, in order to experience itself, uh, converted into two. So that is now the dynamic also. The static pure consciousness is also having a vibration, and that is this is the interplay of Shakti. That is the energy. So consciousness and energy have an interplay, and this is the game of Shiv Shakti. So everything that we see in creation is an interplay of Shiv Shakti. Okay, that is consciousness and energy. Fair. Let's understand more about Shiv. What is the definition of Shiv? Because we said we want to experience, attain this Shiv Tattva. Okay. So apart from pure consciousness, how do we see Shiv in this cycle of manifestation or creation? We say that creation is self-sustaining. That means it undergoes this cyclic process of creation and preservation and destruction. Also, so we say, yeah, this creation is manifestation of that single energy, and it is manifesting itself. So we say that either we can see this creation moving through the time, but alternatively, we can also say that this manifested reality that we see is happening from unmanifested to manifested. Everything that we see is manifestation. That's the unfolding. That same single energy that is unfolding, and this we are going from unmanifested state to manifested state as we speak. So what is the source? Source is unmanifested, the absolute unmanifested. That is what we call Shiv. So we say that Shiv is an independent pure consciousness. Independent. Independent means it does not depend on you, but but it's the source of you. So you are coming from this absolute unmanifested. Everything that we see is coming from the same source. So the next question is, how do we go from manifested to observing the unmanifested? Shiv is also called that which is not. Is also called unborn, unborn or eternal. That means ki it is the thing state before this manifestation happens. So that is the state of absolute unmanifested. That is the Shiv Tattva, that which is not. Okay. So where do we observe this unmanifested? We say unmanifested to manifested. This is the cycle. But once a manifestation is finished, there starts a new cycle of manifestation. So we say that unmanifested can be observed between two manifestations. Like one manifestation is finished, before the starting of the second manifestation cycle, there exists a gap, and that gap is the state of unmanifested. That is the gap where we have to put our one pointed awareness into that in order to merge with it. So the goal is to observe the gap. Gap of what? Gap between two manifestation. How does manifestation work? Manifestation work by having from the coming from the formless to taking a form. So in order to experience the formless, we have to go trace back from form to formless. We have to trace the formless. And where do we find the formless? In the gap. The next is, okay, we will explore more on this and how do we experience this gap. Tantra is the way. Tantra means technique. Tantra is not what you think, it's not an occult practice. Tantra simply means direct technique, the means to realize God. That is the scientific way of unfolding of your consciousness. We will learn more about this mechanics of it. How does it unfold? Okay, so we have talked about unmanifested to manifested. What is this unmanifested state? That is pure consciousness. And what is the manifested state? That is matter. So this consciousness is manifesting to matter. Matter, which is made up of five great elements. We call it Panch Mahabhutas. The starting from earth, air, fire, water, all the way to ether, which is the infinite element. So this pure consciousness is manifesting to matter. So matter is the experience that we feel from perception from outside. So what we have to do, we have to go inward, where we trace back to the source from where it begins. We are experiencing matter. We are experiencing these elements. This is made up of earth or air. This is fire, air, everything. So this, what we're experiencing right now is matter. But is that the absolute truth that we talk about? No. Absolute truth is pure consciousness. The freedom underlying infinite energy that has to be experienced. So Kashmir Shaivism also gives very nice layers of how pure consciousness and energy interacts to, and also how Maya has its layer and how body mind complex works in order in this journey of pure consciousness to matter. So what our goal remains is going from matter to pure consciousness. Okay. Also, okay. Also, remember that we have to experience this formless state. How does form works? Form is what is made up of by mind. I'll erase this. Mind is what gives rise to form. Okay. But we say we have to transcend this mind. We have to go to this form to formless. How do we go to this state of no mind? Remember, we said that our goal was, I'll write it somewhere. It's called Nirvikalp Samadhi. Nirvikalp means thoughtless, right? Samadhi is absorption. So when you're in the state of no mind, there's absorption of yourself into your higher self. That is when you connect to your state, when your consciousness connects to the state of higher, universal consciousness that we spoke about. Hmm. Nirvikalp Samadhi. So that is the state when there is no mind. No mind means zero thoughts. So how do we go to that? It's a progressive step. But first, understand that you due to this the appearance of subject and object, there comes a form, and there comes that form uh, results in thoughts. That thought is illusionary. That is made by mind. That is relative reality, but that is not absolute reality, because absolute is what we discussed as stands as formless, the source. So how do we go to that zero thoughts? We have our different vikalps. That means we have different thoughts. What do we? How do we go to the state of zero thought? First is like gathering your every awareness into single awareness, because we mentioned your true nature is pure awareness. So you have to bring your awareness, wherever it is your energy is leaking, you have to close it and bring your energy in a concentrate your energy, and then use that to experience the non-dual awareness. ठीक है तो awareness is basically your thoughts also have this energy. So when you're sitting in meditation, what you have to do, you have to finally go into that state of samadhi where you don't have any thoughts. How do we do that? example, you have 50 different identities right now. I am this body, I am this mind. So we gave a very good way. It's called neti neti. Neti neti means not this, not this. That is the progress. That's the way of how you come on negating what you're not. Am I this body? No, because this body will die. But this is not my immortal nature. Am I this name? No, this society gave me this name, but I am not this name. So who am I beyond these labels? I am this formless reality that we call God or Shiva consciousness. Why do we naming it Shiva? Because we say that this reality is interplay of Shiva and Shakti, or yin and yang, or static or kinetic. Okay, so how do we go to this zero thoughts? Replace all of your thought by a pure thought. What is the pure thought? That is Shivam. Shivam is what we realize, but through our cognition, through our understanding, we replace every thought with this one thought, that is Shivam. Shivam is a Sanskrit word that means I am Shiva. I am Shiva. 50 thoughts replaced by one single identity, that is your true identity, Shivam. A time will come when this pure identity will also drop. And when that dropped, that single thought that you had also drops, and we go into that state of zero thoughts. That is the state of absorption. Okay. Now one more thing, mind and breath. We say we are currently living a unconscious life. Why? Because we are not even aware of our pattern of breathing. That is the energy exchange that we do with the cosmos. And however, the mind is the breathing pattern also follows. Like when you will you should notice this, that when you are in fear, or fear in that state, your breath changes, right? Why? Because your mind is restless. So we say that if we control our breath, we control our mind, and vice versa. If we control our mind, we control our breath. Currently, we are unconscious of our breathing pattern. So, breathing is the energy language. It's what we are breathing. We are actually doing the pran shakti. We are inhaling and exhaling pran. Pran is the energy, and we say energy and consciousness interplay. So, in order to realize consciousness, pure consciousness, we have to speak the language of energy. That is uh, through breath. So, we say pranayam. Pranayam means pran, and ayam means control. So control of pran. So what we are doing in order to experience the expanded awareness, in order to feel the pran which is existing here and right now, the infinite energy, we have to control our breath. So we say, okay, remember we explored how this unmanifested is between two manifestation. In between two manifestation. What does that mean? We say when we breathe, it is not just that we breathe a simple oxygen, but we are inhaling the pran. Pran means that is the single energy exchange that we do with macrocosm. If I am saying I am this body, this limited being, I am interacting with the macrocosm via breath. So breath holds the secrets to manifestation. When I'm breathing in, it is creation, and when I'm breathing out, it is dissolving it back. So whenever this comes from Tantra, we'll talk more about it. Wherever, so whenever inhalation, we do inhalation, there exists a gap. Like we in the cycle looks like this breathing cycle looks like inhale, hold, then exhale, and then hold. So when you're inhaling, your inhalation is complete, and when your exhalation has not started, there is a gap between that. The after inhalations ends and where exhalation before exhalation starts. That's the gap between two manifestation. So that is the unmanifested. So we are saying when we have this sustained awareness on these gaps, we are able to turn inward and reach to the absolute this state, unmanifested. We go to that most core of our being, the unmanifested, and that is the goal. Okay, where more we can be experience this gap, like in between two thoughts, like when one thought is finished and the other is not started, in between that. So like so we say that that state has to be only be experienced in silence. So meditation is the only doorway to higher consciousness. We get to connect to a universal consciousness. ठीक है. अब there there's a very interesting alchemy that we are going to discuss, that is called Bindu. Or okay, one more thing. You must have heard this number 108 associated with Shiv. So what does that mean? What does 108 signify? So one basically means the absolute. Absolute means the totality that there is, the eternal reality. Zero means shunya. What does this shunya means? Shunya does not means emptiness, but that means full of nothingness. Buddhism talks about this shunya, and also, but there's one more depth to this. Shunya is not emptiness, but shunya is full of nothingness. What does that means? That means this reality that we spoke about, unmanifested state, that is full of nothingness. That is pregnant with infinite potential. That means your reality can unfold in any way. So zero is what, from nothing comes everything. So zero is what shunyata is. When we are saying that we go into that state of no mind, we have to go, when we surrender completely, what we are doing is, we are going from this state of form which we have associated ourselves with the ego. And when we associate our ego with our higher self, or this eternity, this everything is also nothing. So we, if we say I am nothing, I am shunya, that means I am not associating with my ego, or when in meditation, I am not associating with my ego, my body, my form, and I am nothing. I am nothingness. So that nothingness is abundant. That is the so this shunya is that void, basically void. This is very interesting because we say that in this cycle of formless to form, that is from unmanifested to manifested, there comes a middle point, that is the formless, that is the intermediate, where manifestation has started. That's the primal manifestation, but it has not completely taken the form. So we have, and what is this? This is the bindu. Means a concentrated point of consciousness. That's the doorway. So Bindu is what we are trying to achieve. This Bindu is also called Mahashunyata. That means the source, the gateway. Whatever we experience right now is outward. But when we turn inward, we have to go through this void, Bindu point. So we have to, the mechanics look like we have to put all our awareness into one single point, and that single point is called Bindu. That is the infinite, uh, concentrated point of consciousness. So, like, that is a vortex. Vortex means like this. This is our present consciousness, awareness. We have to concentrate into one single point, and this doorway is the gateway to cosmic consciousness. And this is the first this is how this manifestation is unfolding. This is the yogic science. And what we have to do is when we are achieving this state of shunyata, we are saying, I am nothing, I am nothing, I am nothing, and putting your awareness into this single point. This is what you can experience firsthand in deep meditation. We'll go more about this, but this is how that's the doorway to this infinite awareness, and this is full of bliss. Remember this. Western psychology says the highest happiness state that people can achieve is general unhappiness. That means they think that default nature is of a person is unhappiness because it is after desire. Rumi says the desire to know your soul also finishes all your other desire. That means we say when we get to know our true self, we are connected to our once we experience our blissful nature. That's the state of enlightenment. When you make a flip and you go from zero to one, that means this is a one-time experience, but this will change everything. This experience will connect you to this your root forever, and that's when you can be in contentment all along. That is the secret to everlasting peace. So we have to focus on this bindu, one single point of consciousness, and then we expand. ठीक है. How do we reach that? To first understand this energy manifest as pran. Pran is vital life force. When this consciousness was manifesting into energy, the first manifestation was pran, this pranic energy, this pure vibration. That same pran is what operates us. That same pran shakti. This breath is called pran vayu. This pran can be altered via breathing techniques. Okay. So first is cultivating pran. Our default nature is our outward nature. Ki we are so outgoing that we do not have energy to turn inward. But we say when we preserve our energy, that means we can preserve our vital energy. That can be used into this deeper sense of awareness, where you are putting your more and more pranic energy into your spiritual practices. One basic thing about cultivating this so this pran energy, this has to be cultivated. It is there, but since our default nature is very outward, we are unaware of this energetic thing that surrounds us, that makes our auric body. So first is cultivating this pran. The basic thing will not go deeper into this, but the basic thing is our Muladhara chakra has to be upwards. That means the basic fear. You should not fear or should feel that you are not going to live. That is the survival point. That is the basic root. That is the grounding part. So if you are grounded, that means you are feeling safe. Then you can say your energy can rise upward. So the lust, that energy that we waste outward, can be used in preserving and taking it inward. We are not suppressing lust, but we are redirecting lust for a higher purpose. Okay. So cultivating pran is one of the things. More the pran, the better your deeper your spiritual experiences be. Okay. The other thing is we have to harness this awareness. How do we do that? Some concentration practices. Okay, one more basic thing is like there is some yum niyam basic moral conducts that we have to do. That is how we are staying true. Like we have to be stay true. We have to keep some cleanliness, some basic rules that comes with it. We'll go into deeper side. Okay, so Om chanting is a very magical thing. Om is called the Pranav mantra. This is the highest mantra that is known. Om. Simple A U M. Why? we say that this sound that we hear has an underlying sound to it, which is giving this form. Um, when we say this consciousness started manifesting, it manifested into two parts. One was light, another was sound. Light is the Bindu part. How we can experience in yourself is Bindu. Nad is the underlying sound that is giving things form, that is shaping form. That is the pure vibration. That is the base of vibration. So, Om chanting, when we do, we are using this as a base to um interact. So, basically, there is this um pure vibration, and the closest sound that we can hear is defined as Om, AUM. This same AUM is called as Amin in other faiths and Amen. Both are same, but the pure substance, the pure chanting, the pure is Om. Om is when you're chanting Om, there is no uh, touching of anything. That is a pure vibration. That you can, when you do Om, you can experience AUM. So basically, what we're doing, we are making our awareness, we are putting our awareness for Om chanting. We are harnessing our awareness using Om chanting. It has a lot many depth to it, but this can be used from going from form to formless. Om chanting. This is very much powerful. ठीक है. और और क्या समझना है इसमें. हाँ, तो हमारा गोल क्या है, जो हमने प्राण शक्ति डेवलप करी है, वॉट एवर प्राण शक्ति वी हैड, वी हैव टू रिडायरेक्ट इट अपवर्ड. व्हाई? Because we have to put our awareness into this bindu point, right? So we are saying, when we also, one more thing, where our attention goes, energy flows. So when we are putting all our awareness into a single point, that point acts as a point of bindu, from which can act as a vortex to universal consciousness. This bindu manifests at different places. First is your heart center. The second is your this third eye chakra. The third is this Shakti point, and the other is on the top of your head, 12 inches above your head. That is where your subtle body and your causal body meets. That is the highest void that we are seeking. We'll go more into that. That is the void of Param Shiva. Param Shiva, what is the Param Shiva? Param Shiva is what we call the absolute unmanifested. So our goal is to merge with this Param Shiva, this experience. Okay. So one more thing, how does this Pran Shakti travel upward? How do we put everything into one? So let's explore how does this energy channel works. There's this Ida and Pingla that is connected to your right nostril and left nostril. When these two nadis means energy channel, when these two energy channels are balanced, there opens up the middle nadi, that is called Sushumna. Sushumna is your goal. Sushumna means the energy channel which rises through your spine. So when your masculine and feminine are balanced, you unlock your Sushumna, and that is used for your spiritual ascent. So our goal is to first harmonize your masculine and feminine. That's when your Sushumna is activated. That is the channel on how you are sending your Pran Shakti from the base to the top. ठीक है, पर क्यों क्यों कर रहे हैं हम ऐसा? Why? What we are achieving it? So we are saying that there is a point above your head, that is through your crown chakra. I hope you are aware of some of the chakras, because we have been putting for long. Okay, so crown chakra is what our goal is. Our goal is to experience this bliss. That happens via your crown chakra. Crown chakra is does not exist in your body, but just above your head. That is like this is the doorway to your higher self. But how does it get unlocked? Once your below six chakras, when you're including this third eye, when these are aligned, that's when it opens the space to this crown chakra. So when you're raising your pran shakti through your sushumna, you are activating your chakras into and aligning them into one single point, one single direction. That was our goal all along, to put all of your one pointedness into this bindu point. So crown chakra is our goal, and through pran shakti rising up, we this pran shakti rises, and that activates this crown chakra. What happens next? That's when this is the state of bliss. That's when you connect to this state of bliss. There's a next part to it. When you are when you're magnetized to this inner Shiva, there's something magical happens. There exists a latent Kundalini Shakti that exists. That is the universal manifestation inside you. That exists in the base of your spine. Once you are too long for like an hour, if not hour, but for long, if you are aware of this crown chakra of your higher self, then your Kundalini also rises. That's when your uh, complete realization happens, and that's the super ecstatic experience that anyone can achieve. And I'm saying you, this is the most profound thing that you will ever do and you will ever achieve in your as a journey in your soul. That's when realization happens, and a person is called a Jivan Mukt. Limited being now merges when his inner Shakti meets his Shiva. So this Shiv Shakti is what was started, and now when your inner Shakti merges with your Shiva, that's when you realize your Param Shiva. That's when your consciousness, your human consciousness, which is manifesting latently as Kundalini, unfolds and merges to the cosmic consciousness. That's when you become one with it. That's when you experience the bliss. That's when you experience that experience. That's when you realize your Satchit Anand through directly. How? By manipulating your energy and using that to realize God within. This is the experience of God. This is the experience where this is so infinite energy that is coming to you. There cannot be your mind existing, even. So you are there just as a witness without any form, because your energy has risen towards meeting your cosmic consciousness uh, through your Brahmarandra, through your this cranium point. But there are more to it. Grace. This cannot only happen with your active efforts. Okay, one more thing. This everything requires your active effort. Without any active effort, there is no unfolding. So this is your spiritual progress. These things take lifetimes of spiritual practice, but I'm sure with the information, with clarity and techniques that we have in 2025, this has to be more faster. This all of this process. Okay. So grace is what is also required. There are three psychic knots in the unfolding of your consciousness. The last one, so the first one is Brahma Granthi, which connects you through your desires, your material desires. Your Vishnu Granthi is what connects you, binds you with emotional contact. If you're still having emotional things, attachment at that time, in that state, in that meditative state, you will not cross the Vishnu Granthi. The end is Rudra Granthi. Rudra Granthi is the ego state. If you are fully surrendered to your higher self, if you're fully surrendered in knowing the watcher who is watching me, who is the God inside me, that's when you pierce the Rudra Granthi only. So that Rudra Granthi is the final gate guard which you have to cross. And if you're that requires grace because when you're completely surrendered, when you're that's when the higher power comes in and take you to that state of nirvikalpa samadhi. Till that ego exists, till that ego, the sense of doership exists, you will have the state of mind and you cannot go into the nirvikal. That's the goal. Nirvikal, that's a state of no mind. So grace is also what is needed in this path. Grace is like the 10% part of it, the last 10%, but 90% is your active effort, your desire, your complete faith in how what you have, how much faith you have in this process. Okay. One more thing, we realize this breath connection. So you are this microcosm, and this is this macrocosm, and you're interacting via breath. We are inhaling and exhaling. What will happen to your breath when you go into that state of no mind? Will there be deep inhalation? Will there be exhalation? No, there will be suspension. But also, this experience needs faith because there will come a time where your breath will be suspended. That means you're not inhaling also, not exhaling also. Why? Because you are harmonious. You are harmonious with your existence. You are not inhaling anything more. You're not exhaling anything. You're just there. You're just being. That state of being is your pure consciousness. So when you realize that state, this state when your breath is harmonized, not internal, not external, when it's not going out, not going in, that's the state of called kumbhak. And keval kumbhaka is the state that we're going to achieve. Keval kumbhaka means spontaneous, spontaneous suspension of your breath. When this happens, when there's spontaneous suspension of your breath, when you're harmonized with your creation, when you're harmonized with your macrocosm, that's when your awareness expands because now you're not contracted in your mind, but you have now transcended your mind into the state of no mind. And this is the state of samadhi. This is the state of Satchit Anand that we are talking about. Sat, because it is absolute. There's no two. Two happens because of subject and object. But we are saying we are witnessing the watcher. So now observer and observed are one. That means it is not two, it is not relative, that is absolute. What is the absolute? The state of unmanifested. That is the source. That is the witness which is common in all of us. That is the thing which connects all of us. This is the state of non-duality. That me and this existence is same, but this state has to be realized. How? Why this? But this state, so this needs a courage because when you're going into that state of breath suspension, you should not think that you're going to die because this is actually a conscious death. You are consciously going to that state of keval kumbhaka. That is why enlightenment is called the great death. When you go into meditation and when you die, you move into that same space. So we say ki in deep meditation and after death, we move into the same space. That is when your body, when your pineal gland, that's the doorway to your higher realm, uh, connects, helps you in moving from this realm to higher realm. That's when this human consciousness connects to this universal consciousness. So we say when you're in your deepest of meditation, when you experience this state of samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, that is your conscious death, your great death. That's when you get liberated. How? One more thing, that kundalini that we explained, how is that working, and what is this subject of rebirth? We say we have three bodies. Your gross body that we see, that is made of material. The second is your auric body, the mental body. The third is your etheric body or your causal body. So this kundalini rises up and penetrates this mental body that connects the bindu that we saw, this ma shunya. This Mahashunya manifests at a point called 12 inches above your head. That is the point where your subtle body ends, and that's the point that connects your subtle body and your cosmic body. So that Bindu, which is above your head, is our goal. And through meditation, you are going deepest level of this Shunya, this Mahashunya, where everything merges into one, and that when you when where your breath is controlled, when it is in this state of Kumbhak, that means when it's harmonized with the outer with the macrocosm, that's when you are able to recognize your true self. That's when you are able to merge into that Bindu. You are not different from it. You are also coming from it. You are unmanifested to manifested via this Bindu point. We say everything comes from nothing. This is the nothingness. This is the Bindu that we have to. That is our goal. The vortex of consciousness that is connecting our human consciousness to cosmic consciousness. Okay. So tantra, what is tantra? Tantra is the uh, direct techniques on how to realize this true self via some of this inner alchemy. There are different ways to achieve this state. So that's why we say that truth is one. This is what is called dharma. धर्म we say धर्म एक ही होता है, पाथ अलग होता है. Truth is one. Absolute is one. We say this truth is eternal. Sat, right? Okay, I rubbed it. Sat. Sat means truth because this it's non-dual and it's absolute. That is why we say that dharma एक ही होता है. So this is the dharma. Dharma is not just the way of living, but it is also way of dying. Because after you die from this physical body, where will you transcend? Your body leaves through one of the chakras, and that also depends on how your mental body is. If you are still dwelled into your desires, "Ki, I want this, oh my god, I am going to die. I don't want to die. I just want 5 more minutes to see this. Maybe I would do this." So, these mental desires that we'll still have, that is because our mental body has not died. But this is where your consciousness unfold. And when your latent consciousness increases and merges with that cosmic consciousness, that's when your mental body disappears. And when your mental body disappears, there's no desires. That is the mental body, and that you dropped. So now your level looks like your gross body and your bliss body. So you connect to your bliss body directly. This is what we say, that this experience is permanent. That after this has happened, this experience has happened, it will stay with you. You will be the same person from outside. You will do the same job, you will do the same thing, but you will not be the same, because now you have realized your true self, which is your true nature of Satchitanand. Now you become immortal. That's why we say when this happens, when this great liberation happens, you will not die again, because now you will go back and merge with your source, and you will live forever, because now you are the source. In Sanatan Dharma, we don't believe in death, because death, we believe in rebirth, but who is subjected to this rebirth? The mind. But I am not this mind. When I get to know about my true self of pure consciousness, after physical death, this moves and merges back to it, and that's what we call moksha. And once this uh, experience of attaining Shiv Tattva happens, that's when you live as Jivan Mukt, liberated being. While living, you are liberated. So this is the essence of Shiv Tattva, and that's when you connect to your true self, and that's when you are sourced into it, and you will feel natural bliss. That's they call Sahaj Samadhi. Sahaj means spontaneous. So now, after once this happens, your life will change. Now you're unfolding from a next level. You have transcended this material desires, and now you are much more from that. You are living from the totality. You are not seeing yourself as not just mere outward going, but you have the ability to live your truth. And that's the next part of dying, living. Until you die, you will not know how to live. If you want to live properly, you have to die once. And this is the essence. If you want to learn how to live, first learn how to die. Because this will unfold your journey into another level. So this active efforts, this spiritual practice is all about it. And at the end of it, you will get to realize your true self. And never from the starting of this session have I mentioned the word religion, because this is same and universal experience. If I am living in India and having this experience, then anybody from any other country can also have, because we are made from the same consciousness. We are made from the same matter. Beyond the identity, beyond the labels, we are part of the same consciousness, right? So this is what is non-duality. This is the one more step ahead of Advait Vedanta. This is Para Advait. This is Kashmir Shaivism, because we directly understand this dynamic play of energy, and using that energy, we trace back to this consciousness. Because how consciousness manifests into energy, then into matter, we trace back to matter to consciousness. Om chanting plays a very, very magical role, but since this scope of life was of self realization and not about Tantra part, we'll not discuss it. But okay, one more thing, I need to give a label to this. So, this is called realizing your Bhairav Tattva. You must have heard of this Bhairav. What does this Bhairav means? Bhairav is the universal consciousness, that is the highest tattva. Everything that comes is this Bhairav. Bhairav can be equated with Paradevi, Para Adi Shakti. That means this is the highest of the highest tattva. And when your unfolding of consciousness happens, you turn inward and you get to experience this shift tattva. We say you become Bhairav. That means you become that light. And when you experience this non dual awareness, all you see is the light within. That's the non dual realization, when you see the light within. Also, there's this line in verse in Shiv Sutra, which is called Udyamo Bhairava. That means active efforts is Bhairav. Whatever we are doing, this active efforts, when we decided, the moment we decided that we are going to seek this, we are going to get liberated, I want to pursue this path, at that very moment you are Bhairav. And then a time comes when you realize, you unfold into this Bhairav state. This Bhairav is your highest state, just to name it, because it comes from Kashmir Shaivism. So once this happens, when once you're connected to your, once you know your true nature, now you're no longer in ignorance. Now you know no longer in ignorance. What was the ignorance that we talk? The Porosh Agyan and Bodh Agyan. That means we are not unaware, because we have not the we don't have the experience of this non-dual awareness. But we are now saying that once we realize ourselves as Bhairav, that's when we live fearlessly. Why? Fear comes from death. But now we know that this, we are not this body, but we are very vast. Our awareness is infinite. So we become fearless, because we know I am aware of my immortal nature now, that I will not die again. So this everything, starting from our ignorance of how we are associating, identify ourselves with the pseudo I. We from pseudo I, we realize our highest I, highest divine I, which is your Shiva nature, which is your pure consciousness, which lies beyond labels, beyond forms. So this is the underlying thing that sits inside you right now. Right now, this is not something to be attained. The next part. This is not foreign anything. These all things are present in you, just that we are not aware of it. We are in our ignorance. That is called avidya. We are in ignorance of our nature because we don't know our true self. But once this experience happens, you get to experience the lasting peace, because now you are not in fear anymore, because now you know you will never die, right? So this is the end of all desire. Whatever, this is the goal of yoga. This is the nirvikalp samadhi. It's the goal of yoga. What does yoga means? Yoga means union. Yoga just does not simply means these stretching exercises that you know. Yoga means union. Union of what? Of you with the divine. So once this experience happen, you feel the oneness. And this is the yeah, final part of yoga. So this is not, now we say ki, what about desire? We say to know higher truths of life, replace your material desire, also add a higher desire to it, that this is of urgent importance. Because if you think you don't have time right now, you will never have time. So this has to be, in my opinion, has to be seek urgently, because it is available now. It does not, if you think that we need a guru, we say you can make Shiva your guru. You can make this existence as your guru, because your guru exists now. Your inner self will always be your base of your existence. So it was never separate from you just to start with. So you do not wait for outer guru. Make Shiva your guru, your existence your guru, whatever formless thing you want to name, or anything, but start, because this is one of the most profound experience that one can have, and it is an important part of the journey. So from limited being to, from jivatma to jivan mukt, from form to formless. And now once we understand our formless part, we live as God, because we now know that we are also this divine manifestation. Everything that we see is a divine manifestation. So this is the whole experience of enlightenment and Shiva Yoga. Basically, you get to know your about your uh, Shiv nature, which is your underlying pure consciousness. Okay. Now we'll take on some question. If anybody has a question on Google Meet, just enter in the chat, or also we'll pick up from this Instagram live. Talk about Brahmarandra. Can this be followed along with daily life? So meditation is what is deprogramming. So when you meditate. Oh, okay. One more thing I forgot to mention, very important, karma, uh, which is very much needed. So we say, okay, karma. So we say we can experience the infinite only when we have transcended our karma. We have finished our karma. So there are ways to that. Like Jain monks or Buddhist monks, they renunciate the world. They that somebody asked, can this be followed along with daily life? To answer that, um, Jain monks and Buddhist monks, they renunciate life. That what they are doing is basically, I'm doing nothing. So by doing nothing, I'm not doing adding any karma to it, right? So whatever their previous karma they had, they will go on only uh, experiencing that, and not adding anything new karma. The other way to transcend karma is by understanding how karma works. So karma is basically what attached to the doership. So if I say karma is uh, cause and effect, so basically if I say that I am the doer, right? I am associating myself as the doer. But in reality, when we realize this, we get to know that I was never the doer. I was I was the only the container on how this everything is observed by that one. So we say non-doership. That's the goal of that is the summary that is given in Bhagavad Gita. That don't identify yourself with the goal, the results of your action, but just associate yourself as the action. Become a non-doer. And similarly, when we can say I am not the doer, we are transcending your karma because you are saying that I am my higher self, I am Shiva, I am everything basically. So you are not associating yourself when you are doing it. So now you do not add any karma. So your final thing, your final part when you will transcend is when you will transcend your karma. And how? By making your giving up your doership and just being there as a witness. Now the next thing is this witness consciousness, that is Sakshi Bhava. That is the summary of everything. What is the that's what Jiddu Krishnamurti also taught. That's the choiceless awareness, that you don't have a choice, but just that you know that you are the source, you're connected to that source, and also you're operating in this world. So that's the how mindfully living what was taught by Krishnamurti. What experience is most profound? This experience of Nirvikalp Samadhi is when you experience this bliss, your blissful nature. But then when your Kundalini unfolds and merges to that Shiva, that's when your infinite dopamine, you can say, because it's the unfolding of your consciousness. So that's the most profound experience, Kundalini awakening. And what's the side effect to it? Once you drop your mental energy, mental body, whatever you say will manifest very fast because now your vibration is very pure. You're connected to your higher self now. So Kundalini awakening post that for a considerable type of point of time, whatever you desire, whatever you manifest will happen. That is why these things are kept a little secret and not open to public, because these are very potent things on shaping the reality, on changing the reality. ठीक है. Somebody asked, what is Brahmarandra? So Brahmarandra is the uh, point from where this Pran Shakti leaves the body. That is your cranium point. That is where your crown chakra is. If you want to see your where your chakras are, I will tell you a mapping. This is your navel center. This is your third chakra. On do like this. This is your heart chakra. From your navel, this is the heart chakra. This is your Vishuddhi chakra. This is your Agya chakra. And beyond this, this point, this is your cranium. That is the middle point from how what is the intersection of it. When you see a baby, you see this point is very soft when they are born. That is the point of cranium. That is the point from how this human consciousness, that is the doorway to higher consciousness. This, so everything is aligned in a single direction. Your pran shakti is connected to your highest this shakti moves upward to via this brahmarandra. ठीक है, more questions? ठीक है, 108. 108 basically means you are the absolute. One is absolute, zero is your shunya, and this is your infinity. That means from 1 to 0 to infinity. That 0 is your doorway, your bindu. Bindu is your doorway. We explained bindu very thoroughly here. What is the middle point in between form and formless? This is the form formless. So 1 to 0 are to infinity. So in order to experience your infinite nature, your doorway is this 0. So Shiv is everything. It is also absolute. It is nothing from which arises everything. And it is also the infinite manifestation as Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. And one more thing, if somebody is asking what is the proof of God, Proof of God is because cause and effect. We see effect, we see nature. But what is the cause of the nature? That gives your answer. That God. Because this nature cannot be without a cause. So, what is the cause? That was explained in the starting, that one wanted to, the pure awareness wanted to be aware of its joyful nature. So, in that desire, it decided to expand. This is what Kashmir Shaivism teaches. And I think that's the best explanation one can have for this universe. So basically, we are living as I am Shiva, and whatever we see is a manifestation of that divine Shiva. So basically, that's getting to know our Shiv nature. Okay. Any more questions? Else we'll wrap this up. Can enlightenment or Kundalini awakening cause sudden death? तो सबसे पहले चीज होती है ग्राउंडिंग. You in मतलब if you're transcending, the one thing you should know is your base, where you are seated. Your there are also some we'll not go into techniques, but there's mool band. Mool band is when you have the root lock. So that's the base. So your base should be very good. Mooladhara. That's when you can force your energy upward. So either yogic posture like Siddhasan, or you can just sit as straight as you can and have on a rock or something hard. So that will help you with grounding. So can cause sudden death. Matlab it's rare like you go out and you do not come back, but you should if you know this alchemy, if you are practicing some of it, if you are practicing kriya and you are aligning yourself and you know you are safe and you know that you are safe and that you are experiencing yourself, you will come back. So I think aligning everything with shift will help you with a lot of things, including grace. So अभी प्राण शक्ति ये सब अनफोल्ड करने के लिए देयर आर मेनी मेथड्स टेक्निक्स टू दैट. विज्ञान भैरव तंत्र also teaches 112 types of techniques, dharnas, the creative contemplation. So there are a lot of things that can be done in order to fast track your progress, and understanding the alchemy will help you uh, in achieving that state basically. How to ground myself? Easier thing is just Muladhara is basically on what is fear and death. So first understand that you will not die, and you cannot die. Your essential nature is what we discuss immortal. Just that we are not aware of it. So when you should ground by just understanding that you are out of fear, and you will uh, are not in any threat, and also walking on grass barefoot, hugging a tree will help you with grounding. Sir, quick recap of everything discussed. Quick recap is you are Shiv, and you have divine in self. You are divine itself, and it exists in you, but you have to unfold your consciousness to merge with the universal consciousness, and that is moksha or liberation. So this entire blog that we have created is about self realization, and yeah. बुक कब आएगी भाई? बुक आ चुकी है. अगर इफ एनीबडी ऑफ यू who wants to know this or read about this apart from this lecture, or is want to explore this, you can explore my book. It's already out. You can just DM book or comment book on any of the posts. You will it will take you forward. Do you think Vipassana helps in record of energy. So Vipassana is basically you're sitting silent. So that's when you develop the uh, art of hearing sound. So I think that helps also, but not necessary. This is more necessary. Understanding what is the source of it and how you are achieving it. Overcoming lust. First, understand that I would like to quote कि छोटे मजे तभी छोड़े जा सकते हैं जब आपको बड़े मजे का एक्सपीरियंस हो. तो आपके ये जो छोटे मोटे डिजायर्स है लस्ट वाले, दैट कैन बी रिप्लेस व्हेन यू गेट टू वंस यू गेट टू एक्सपीरियंस योर हायर ब्लिस. तो व्हाई विल यू, व्हाई when you can use that energy to experience this infinite bliss, why would you waste it in petty things? So you should also understand what you're doing, yeah, consciously. Is nirvikalp samadhi last stage? Yes. Samadhi is the goal of yoga, basically. How to end anxiety? Anxiety, पहले तो ये समझो कि ये माइंड का ही गेम है. और दूसरा, एनर्जी फ्लो इंप्रूव करने के लिए प्राणायाम विल हेल्प यू. सो practice some breath work that will help you clear the flow and clean from inside. Think anxiety is more of an energy disbalance issue. Everything can be solved by energy basically. When you, if you have a good hold of your inner system, you will know when you're depressed, how you're depressed, if anything. Because your default nature is Satchit Anand, right? Your default nature is bliss. But why we are not aware of it? Because we are in ignorance. We are associating ourselves with false self, right? Who am I? You are pure consciousness. You are divine. You are God manifesting as a limited being. Why? In order to experience itself. This whole of it. Why? In order for Shiva to experience itself. The joy of being Shiva. How to meditate on the gaps between the breaths, Vigyan Bhairav Tantra covering next week. Okay, बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है. All the Abrahamic faiths say one God, but except for Hinduism. So please explain. Vishnu, Shiva, and Shakti. So Kashmir Shaivism or Tamil Shaivism, both of them are based, and even Veda and even Upanishad, everything says non-dual. Non-dual, that is qualified non-dual. That non-duality exists, but we have to identify and live, experience that non-duality. In terms of God, we say that everything is manifestation of only one God, that is called Sadashiv. Sadashiv have five cosmic principles, that is creation, organization, destruction, uh, abstinence, not abstinence, the ability to hide itself, and the last is grace. So these five things are made, are one part of, done by one Sadashiv only. So Vishnu, Brahma, Mahesh are everyone are part of the same energy. So even Hinduism in its true level is monotheistic only, similar to Abrahamic faiths. The thing is, Abrahamic faiths are more of the um, formless part, that it is formless. You cannot see that. But in Hinduism, we say that since it is formless, since it is manifesting, it have different manifest cosmic functions. And these cosmic function is how we define these deities.